Hi, we just concluded the Republican National Convention with the culmination of the speech from uh, former President Donald Trump. I find it very unique. Uh, American politics at the times is very unique that how people could listen. I tried to listen to Donald Trump's speech, which took more than 1.5 hours. It was just a repetition. I failed to see any concept which came, any concrete evidence, any plan like a commander in chief would say that this is what I was going to do. And I say, American presidency is very unique. And the 2024 election is very, very unique. The first reason why it's unique, these two president, the people, the candidate are the oldest in the history of America. We have never had oldest president. This is the first time you see there the 2024 US presidential candidates to date. They are the only two presidents who have been elected who are more than 70 years old when they were inaugurated. Joe Biden was inaugurated when he was 78 and 61 days. Donald Trump was 70 uh, uh, years and 220 days, almost coming to 71 years. These are the oldest presidents we have ever had in the history. For in the last 248 years, the only people we have had who are oldest. So we are going to have, and they are breaking a record. These are the people who competed the last election together, and then Trump was defeated, and Biden came in, and it is a rematch. Well, there have been other people who have done the same before, but then we have to agree that these are the oldest because most of 10 US presidents who were in their 60s, only 10 who have been in their 60s, but a majority of presidents who are 25 of them have been inaugurated when they are in their 50s. 25 of them out of the 46 we have had, only a majority is 50 years. Then we have 9 who were elected when they were below, within their 40 years, in their 40s. James Pollock, James Garfield, Franklin Pierce, Grover Cleveland, Barack Obama, Ulysses Grant, Bill Clinton, Jeff Kennedy, and Teddy Roosevelt. So these are the only who have been elected. So that's why I say we are dealing with the most old presidents. Right now, one candidate is above 80, and one is almost getting to 80. So when it comes to age, all of them have an issue. I know right now we see people are having an issue. That's why I say this 2024 is a very, very unique election in the United States of America. We have divergent views. We have 2 presidents running, and they have made a record that they're oldest. Now, as you listen to Trump, sometimes you wonder. I try to listen to make sense of it. The same ranting, but he's very popular among. He has a following like a cult. Now there are so many things he explained that sometimes you don't understand. Indeed, America has changed. Let's go back in history. at least a snapshot. This is 2024. Let me take in a century, every century, 2024. What happened? The first election in a century was 1824. How America was looking. That was the map, electoral map. America in 1824 was only tiny 13 colonies which were voting. And at that time, we had Democratic Republican Party, two Democratic Republican Party were running. One of them, one who was John Quincy Adams, was followed by Andrew Jackson. And then almost all of them were Democratic Republican. So that time, election, the parties were coming into play. So let's zoom 100 years later, from 1824, we come to 1924 election. America now had changed. Calvin College won as a Republican. It was a landslide for Calvin College. And at that time, if you see, Democrats, all of southern states were Democrats. These northern states were Republicans. Quite unique, because things have flipped. That is for another time. Now, almost now, if you see the 20, like the electoral map, this is almost an electoral map where is for prediction is not real. You can see how the map has changed, where blue is. If you see from 1924, the blue was in the southern states. But now you see blue is on the periphery in towns. Most of the rurals have become conservative and they are Republican. That is how much we have changed in this coming election. Now, another thing we have also to see, Trump he gave a lot of information about the migration. And even when he was assassinated, he was giving a demonstration. He said about illegal immigration. It was a big banner where he was explaining to see that how he himself had, when he was in office, he had controlled immigration. That is something they had put up, which was before he was shot. Now, in a cross look where he got this thing from, he must have gotten from another, he got it from a website of another congressman who had, where the source is not even known. I mean, the figures, whether they're true, it's not, nobody knows are authentic. But he had added, because when you see that graph where it was like this. In this, trying to explain how the immigration was, but he had added some soup on it, saying Biden's world record of illegal immigration, many from prison and mental institutions, also terrorists coming. Nothing like this has ever happened. Those are his own addition. He has added that where he has pointed, he says that this is where Trump tariff threat leads to Mexican cooperation, and that this is where Trump left office, if you can see that arrow from down. But that is not true. Trump left office in January 2021, but he's pointing to 2020, and this is a time we were in a pandemic. All of the borders were closed and nobody was coming in at that time. So and nobody would challenge him about giving all of these lies. And even this information, nobody exactly knows whether it's true, because nobody can verify it. It's not from an official source. We try to look this from an official source. Nobody's challenging. And that's why America is really very unique. So see, even this graph, where it's got from, no source, no visual data, but even if it was like that, why are you saying that 2020 when we had closed, he had used the Title 42 to close the border. And then he's lying and nobody's challenging him. I saw people clapping. And then with all of the lies, and in any case, he was talking like what he was going to do, like a to-do list with no plan. I didn't see anything he was saying. He was saying that he would bring interest rates down. Donald Trump is a businessman. And not only that, an educated man who went to Wharton School of Business in Pennsylvania. He has a business degree. He knows clearly that the president does not influence the interest rates. Interest rates are increased by economists. The chairman of the Federal Reserve, after they sit down, they see how the economy is going, how the inflation. It all goes with inflation. If there is a high inflation, interest rates have to go up. It is a prerogative of the Federal Reserve to determine the interest rate. How are you going to do it? A man who has a business degree from Wharton School of Business. These are fiasco and monetary policies which a president does not go. Where are you? He was a president. If he's talking about this immigration, he found he could not ban people coming in. They are protected by law. You will be sued. How many times? When until Congress passes a law to amend the existing law. And that's what they were doing. And then he told his Republican, don't pass that one because that is my weapon of winning the election. So really, I saw peddling about lies saying that the people came from mental institution and the people were clapping. America is what is really America. Is America rotting from inside. It is still a puzzle that is America rotting from inside. Why couldn't people question him about the veracity of this information is peddling around? Uniquely, and another way this election is unique, if Trump wins, he will break the 132 history which has never broken. That he will have two non-consecutive terms, which this happened in 1892. In 1892 election, when Democratic Cleveland won election and they defeated the Republican Harrison. Previously, in 1888, Harrison had defeated Cleveland, who was the incumbent, to win the 1882 election. So that's how it is indeed unique. That he will, if he wins, then he will break that history of 1892 that Cleveland, who was a Democrat, captured the seat which he had lost in 1888 because he had won that election in 1884. And coming to 1888, he lost it to Harrison. And then he recaptured it back in 1892. So that is how unique this election is. In the Democratic Party, they are still debating whether Biden has to continue at the age of 81, which is a record that he has broken a record. That if Biden runs, completes the race and wins, still this 2024 would be a unique year because we could have elected the oldest president in the history of this country. So in whatever way, 2022 is a unique and a special election year. We are going to see what is going to happen, and we'll be watching and give more. And if you have any comment, you can give. But that is a unique, I consider it a very unique election, and we hope to see more which